Welcome to Numerical Healing, dedicated to education on the biological, psychological, social, environmental, and spiritual aspects of addiction. Hi, my name is Dr. Ajenim Komo Botin. You may call me Dr. Boat. Well, you all know in my previous podcast, I spoke about the need to know how to intervene, what and when to say anything to motivate a person dealing with alcohol and drug addiction to quit. Well, I know most people are always eager to help addicts, but fail to realize that there are steps that need to be taken to ensure that the help that is being offered is done appropriately, done at the right time, and matches the addict's current status or mindset. Because I know, trust me, I know that saying the wrong thing at the wrong time may result in resistance from the addict, and that may be the last time the addict may want to talk to you. So, when is the right time to talk to an addict? You see, one of the questions frequently asked by most family members and loved ones of individuals dealing with addiction that I work with or help or treat is, when is the right time to talk to an addict? Well, the simple answer I give in my clinic all the time is, before you talk to an addict or an addicted individual, you must first know what addiction is. And we all know that there are changes in the brain that occur when one abuses alcohol and other drugs. Brain disease, because drugs change the brain. They change its structure and how it works. And if you have dealt with an addict before, you know they have ego. The addict's current status or stage of the addiction and recovery is very important to know before you even try to help them. I would therefore ask you to give me a few minutes to talk about research studies on the stages of change by wonderful researchers, including Prochaska and Da Clemente, which is the stages of individuals' readiness to change in the addiction and recovery process or continue. You see, the stages of readiness to change model is based on the outcome of research studies depicting the changes that occur during the addiction and recovery process. And this is what the experts are saying, that knowing about the stages of readiness to change help anyone willing to help addicts move away from the so-called confrontational and theoretical approaches toward motivational and person-centered approaches. Knowing the stages of readiness to change has actually helped me communicate effectively with the patients, the clients, the consumers, you may say, or the addicts who come to my clinic, and develop rapport with them. You see, the key word here is rapport, R-A-P-P-O-R-T. And developing rapport with an addicted person means establishing a sound relationship with an addicted person based on understanding and mutual respect. It is equally important that family members also learn how to approach individuals who are struggling with addiction and communicate with them effectively and enhance motivation. However, I can assure you that effective communication will not be possible if you don't meet individuals struggling with addiction where they are in the addiction and recovery continuum or process. Because I know once you meet individuals struggling with addiction where they are in the addiction and recovery continuum or process, it becomes a whole lot easier to strike a conversation with them and encourage them to at least listen to you and often persuade them to seek help. Otherwise, I can assure you that if you fail to learn about the stages of addiction and recovery continuum and establish rapport with the addicted individual, your first conversation with that addict would definitely be your last conversation. But please listen. There is a saying in the addiction community that you can only be successful to help addicts if you can motivate them to take the cotton out of their ears and put it in the mouth. Yes, you can only be successful to help addicts if you can motivate them to take the cotton out of their ears and put it in their mouth. We all know this. If a horse trainer or horse trainers in general can bring wild horses from the woods, from the jungle, and train them to obey and follow their instructions, then I think that we can all learn the skills needed to help motivate our loved ones struggling with addiction and have a dialogue with them with mutual understanding and respect. Again, this can only be done if we have some knowledge about addiction and meet addicts where they are in their addiction and recovery process. I've been talking about these stages. What are these stages? We'll begin with the pre-contemplation stage. You see, the pre-contemplation stage is where the person or the addict is not ready. The addicted individual is not thinking about quitting. Feels like life is good and does not see any problem. So what do you say to this person? How do you approach this person who doesn't care about the consequences of his or her drug use? Because every time you wake up, people are dying, accidental overdoses on opiates, drunk driving accidents, people using pain pills, tramadol, called Tramor, and other drugs, marriages, relationships, falling apart because of drugs and alcohol. Let us all get ourselves involved. But first, you have to know about the stages of readiness to change. You have to know the mindset of the person you are trying to help to be able to initiate a very candid and respectful conversation with that person so as to motivate them to at least seek help or quit. The next stage is called the contemplation stage. You see, in the contemplation stage, the person is getting ready. It's somehow ambivalent. That's the word I use. It's ambivalent. One party is saying stop, one party is saying, hey, think about it. So the person is thinking about quitting, becoming aware of the consequences, reducing the amount and frequency of the usage, or switching from hard drugs to soft drugs. At least you have to know how to approach this person or a person or an addict in the contemplation stage. The next stage is the preparation stage. You see, in the preparation stage, the person is like ready to quit, has made that commitment to quit. The person is still socializing with alcohol and drug using friends though. There's infrequent use and sees the benefit of quitting, and it's ready to quit. You have to know how to approach this person. The next stage is the action stage. You see, in the action stage, the person has quit using. It's avoiding triggers. When we say triggers, we call it PPT, people, places, and activities that in the past motivated him or her to use. He's avoiding them or she's avoiding them. Attending self-help sobriety meetings. If he's a Christian, he's going to church, probably to join the choir, and he's doing things. A person is seeking treatment, is asking questions, asking for support. You have to recognize or realize this stage and know how to approach that person. You don't want to approach a person who is in the action stage as if the person is still using. No, you don't want to do that. The next stage is the maintenance stage. You see, individuals in recovery in the maintenance stage, that individual has quit using alcohol and drugs for a long period of time, which researchers estimate is about 6 months to a year after the action stage has started. They may be experimenting with new ways to live, learning new skills. They can anticipate triggers and risky situations and plan for contingencies and stuff. So you have to know where this person is and the appropriate help to give and how to support this person. But then if all fails, then the person may relapse. And I hope you will pay attention to this. Although many people see relapse as a failure, the stages of change model interprets relapse as a normal part of the recovery process. It's unfortunate. It is not a requirement, though, that people who stop using relapse, of course, but the vast majority of people who enter recovery will relapse. It happens everywhere. It happens in most diseases. The belief that someone who enters recovery for the first time will never touch a drug again is simply not reality. But this is how I explain this stage. I begin with what we call relapse, L-A-P-S-E. And the lapse is a single error or slip. It's one event. You know, people who are on diet trying to lose weight, they have something called a forbidden food. They are told to not to eat certain foodstuffs and stuff, but then one day they may slip. And that may be the one time that they will eat that food and then go back to their weight loss kind of program and continue doing what they're doing. It happens in addiction too. But then if the person continues to lapse, then they relapse. And relapse is when you continue to use, or the addict continues to use and return to the former behavior. And when the person continues to lapse, then guess what? The person will collapse. And that is when the relapse leads to a habit that the person may have little hope of reversing. We call it, the person has hit rock bottom. So I've explained all the stages of readiness to change. The simple message is, if anytime you think about helping someone addicted to alcohol or other drugs, you have to know the stages of readiness to change and meet them where they are and communicate with them appropriately. That's the only way you can motivate someone and assist them to seek treatment or to quit. Just want to remind you that Numerical online radio is coming soon. I just want you to continue to listen to my podcast and watch my videos. But the only way you can join me and watch me all the time is to subscribe, like, and share my videos. Once again, my name is Dr. Ejenim Ekomo Botin. Thank you, and may God bless.